Two nations, one river, and a single dam that rewrites the rules of power. From Ethiopia's highlands to Egypt's delta, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam has sparked debates about development, rights, and survival. In less than 10 minutes, we will cut through the rhetoric, lay out the facts, and ask the real question. Can fair water management make everyone win? Stay with me because we will explore global precedents, clear up misconceptions, and show how all Nile countries could really come to the table. Just days after its inauguration, foreign threats began surfacing again. The Arab League, standing with Egypt, warned they take measures against Ethiopia's unilateral decision for building the dam. But to understand this tension, we need to step back. For over 5,000 years, Egypt has lived by the Nile. Without it, there is no Cairo, no pyramids, no fertile farmland. The Nile is not just a river, it is life itself. Yet, here's the part rarely talked about. Almost 85% of the Nile's water don't come from Egypt at all. They come from Ethiopia's highlands, carried by the Blue Nile. In 2011, Ethiopia made a historic declaration. It would build the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the largest hydroelectric project in Africa. But this wasn't just about concrete and steel. It was about lighting up the homes of 132 million Ethiopians still living in darkness. It was about lifting an entire nation into a new era of prosperity. So, here's the obvious question. If Ethiopia supplies the water, why has Egypt long been the sole master of it? And why the threats from its Egyptian brothers? The answer lies in Egypt's dependency. Over 90% of Egypt's fresh water comes from the Nile. To Egyptians, an upstream dam feels like an existential threat. Politicians even warn, if the Nile dries, Egypt dies. Some whispered about war, sabotage, even striking the dam before it became operational. But here's where perspective matters. Around the world, upstream nations have done exactly what Ethiopia is doing without waiting for permission. The Hoover Dam in the US, China's Three Gorges Dam, India's project on the Indus, all were built without downstream approval. And yet, some of the very same nations who build dam now tell Ethiopia how to manage its river. The double standard is hard to ignore. Ethiopia, in contrast, has followed international law, filling the dam gradually, managing risks, and putting safeguards in place for downstream countries, because development doesn't require permission from those who don't control your resources. So the real clash is about history. Egypt clings to colonial-era treaties that gave it the lion's share of the Nile's water, but Ethiopia was never part of those agreements. As Ethiopian officials put it, we were never consulted. How can we be bound by chain forged in our absence? Meanwhile, construction pressed on, concrete poured, giant turbine installed. In September, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam was finally inaugurated, the end of a decade-and-a-half-long journey. And this wasn't just a government project. Ordinary Ethiopians paid for it. Students bought bonds, civil servants gave part of their salaries, farmers contributed from their modest income. This was a people's dam, a project of national pride. But across the border, every stage of filling the dam was seen as a countdown to disaster. The tensions even spilled into sport. When Ethiopia played Egypt in the World Cup qualifiers, Egyptian fans shouted over Ethiopia's national anthem. The dam had become more than politics, it was fueling raw emotion. As pressure mounted, the Arab League stepped in, backing Egypt and condemning Ethiopia. Suddenly, this wasn't just a regional issue anymore, it was turning into a geopolitical chess game. Yet, despite the threats, Despite the warnings, the dam came to life. Here's the fact that matters most. The psychological balance is shifted. Egypt is no longer the unquestioned master of the river. Ethiopia has proved it can rise and take responsibility for its resources. And now, the critical question is, will this be a story of conflict or cooperation? The Nile is big enough if managed wisely. Studies show Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam can generate power for Ethiopia without permanently reducing Egypt's share of water, as long as both sides agree on cooperative filling and drought management. The solution isn't in threats, it's in science, trust, and shared benefit. Ethiopia needs electricity, Egypt needs water, Sudan needs stability. Together, they could build a framework where no one loses and everyone gains. Because rivers don't recognize borders. They remind us that survival is shared. And the Nile, which once built ancient empires, could now build modern unity. So, here we stand. A dam completed, a river still flowing, and two nations staring each other down. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is not just Ethiopia's dam, it's Africa's test. A test of whether old fears will drown us or new cooperation will carry us forward. The story of the Nile is far from over, but its next chapter, war or peace, rivalry or partnership, won't be written by the river, it will be written by the choices of those who depend on it.